Did you know that a toucan's enormous beak can grow to nearly half the length of its body? Today, we're painting one of Latin America's most colorful and charismatic birds, the magnificent toucan. Hello, and thank you for joining me. Today, we're continuing our journey through Latin America with a bird that seems as if it was designed specifically for watercolor painting. Bright colors, bold shapes, and plenty of personality. Let's paint this confident toucan perched peacefully on a branch deep within the lush jungle. We'll begin by lightly sketching the scene. I'm using a green watercolor pencil for this sketch because it blends beautifully once activated with water and disappears naturally into the surrounding foliage. Start by sketching the branch, then block in the large distinctive shape of the toucan. One of the most recognizable features of this bird is, of course, its oversized beak. Don't worry about perfection at this stage. We're simply mapping out our composition and creating a guide for the painting ahead. Now let's begin painting. We'll start by applying a very diluted green wash to the background. This soft layer represents the dense tropical vegetation found throughout the toucan's habitat, while also helping us establish the shapes of the branch and the bird. While this background layer dries, let's talk a little about our colorful subject. Toucans live in the tropical forest of Central and South America, including countries such as Brazil, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, and Costa Rica. Now that our background is drying, we'll begin adding soft base layers to the toucan itself. Because watercolor is transparent, it's usually best to begin with the lightest color first. Start by painting the bright yellow areas on the chest and beak. Keep these washes diluted and luminous. Next, begin mapping out the darker areas of the bird's body using a soft black or dark gray mixture. Don't try to achieve full darkness right away. We'll gradually build those rich tones through multiple layers. Allow the watercolor to flow freely and embrace those soft edges. One of the magical things about watercolor is its ability to suggest leaves, shadows, and movement without needing to paint every detail. Now let's move to the branch. Using light orange browns, touches of green, and subtle variations in color establish the structure of the wood. These color shifts will help create texture and give the branch a more natural appearance. At this stage, the painting may look simple, and that's perfectly normal. Watercolor paintings often look unfinished for quite some time. Trust the process. Layer by layer, the scene will come to life. Toucans spend most of their lives high in the forest canopy, hopping from branch to branch in search of fruit. Although their beaks look heavy, they're actually incredibly lightweight, made mostly of keratin with an internal honeycomb structure. Scientists believe toucans use their beaks not only to gather fruit, but also to regulate body temperature. Now return to the background. Add darker greens and subtle leaf shapes, allowing some areas to remain soft while sharpening others. This variation creates depth and keeps the eye moving through the composition. Continue alternating between the bird and the background. This not only prevents muddy colors, but also allows each section time to dry naturally. One of my favorite quotes about birds says, "Birds do not trust the branch they sit on, they trust their wings." And I think that's a beautiful reminder for artists as well. Sometimes we need to trust our skills, embrace uncertainty, and simply keep painting. Once the base layers have dried, we can begin building contrast. Using more saturated paint, deepen the shadows beneath the wings, around the neck, and along the body. Notice how the toucan immediately starts getting volume and presence. If needed, use a finer brush and begin refining the details around the face and the eye. The eye is especially important because it's where viewers connect emotionally with the painting. A few careful strokes can completely transform your bird into a confident character full of personality. If needed, switch to watercolor pencils for additional precision. You can use them to sharpen edges, define feathers, strengthen shadows, and add texture throughout the piece. Watercolor pencils work wonderfully during the final stages because they allow for more controlled details while still maintaining the softness of watercolor. Continue building contrast throughout the branch and surrounding foliage. Back to our toucan. Add a few darker accents here and there, but remember that not every area needs equal detail. Allow some sections to remain loose and atmospheric. This balance between soft and detailed areas often creates the most interesting paintings. Keep moving back and forth between the bird, branch, and background. Little by little, detail by detail, your toucan will slowly emerge from the page. As you near completion, step back occasionally and view the painting from a distance. Ask yourself, does the toucan stand out from the background? Is there enough contrast? Does the painting feel balanced? The process itself will often tell you when the scene is complete. And there we have it, a vibrant, confident toucan surrounded by the lush greenery of Latin America. Thank you so much for painting along with me today. I hope this colorful bird inspires you to embrace creativity, trust your instincts, and continue exploring the world, one watercolor painting at a time. Until next time, happy painting!